After a long day at school, many children are ready to leave their books behind and go home for some rest and relaxation. But what happens when home and school are one and the same?
All right, Denise, we're working on lesson 35, adding fractions. So we're going to use the fraction.
Most children don't have parents as teachers, and socialization and learning are intertwined, so it's a different kind of experience.
Dr. David Sheslow, a pediatric psychologist at DuPont Hospital for Children, offers his views on homeschooling.
The most obvious point about homeschooling is you lose some of the socialization, although parents really work hard to make sure that there are socialization experiences for their children.
9-year-old Denise and 12-year-old Sean Sias live in Millville, New Jersey. They have been homeschooled their entire lives. Their mother, Rose, began homeschooling with their older siblings.
They disliked school very much. They hated the routine. They hated the busy work. They hated the whole class being punished for 1 or 2 disruptions in the class. And it took me about 2 years to convince my husband that I could do it, and then finally gave me the okay. So we started 9 years ago homeschooling.
It is a trend that is gaining popularity.
The movement is growing tremendously, between 15 to 40% every year. In the United States, there's now over 1 million children being homeschooled.
The curriculum and requirements for homeschooling vary from state to state.
In New Jersey, you really don't need any credentials other than to be the parents or legal guardian of the children, even though I have a teaching degree, but it's not necessary. We have a New Jersey curriculum guide which shows us what each child is required to learn. So what I do is I set one child up with their requirements for the day, what materials I want them to cover, and while they're working on that, then I can help work with the other child.
For Rose and her children, it is an intense teaching method.
In the classroom, you try to keep children all on the average basis, where when you're working one-on-one, now they can vary in each subject. For instance, math, they could be a grade ahead. Reading, they could be a grade behind. Science, they could be 4 grades ahead. The best thing about it is that we can move as fast as they would like to move through things. We're not held up by the average child in each class.
And evaluating her children's progress is also much different than it would be in a typical classroom.
With homeschooling, you don't write as much as you do in a school system, because I can just ask them what I need to know. I can just say, what did you learn from your science lesson today? Explain what you did here.
I took these little blocks.
Being able to speak and discuss and evaluate verbally what they've learned is a #1 skill. As long as we see progress going on, we know that they're succeeding. Maybe they're not up to grade level in a particular subject, but as long as they're improving, that shows success. We can cover whatever is required academically in 3 hours, and then since they have a lot of free time, that's where they pursue their individual interests.
These days, Denise is gaining confidence with a needle and thread.
Sewing right now is one of her major interests, so we have a project through the 4-H in which she's right now working on sewing a skirt.
And when the children study what they like, sometimes Rose learns a thing or two.
I had no clue as to what rocketry was about. But after we got a few books out and read, and Sean was way ahead of me in learning about rocketry, we put together a program. We got our rocket kits, and the children built the rockets, and we're getting ready to set them off at the end of this month.
But if you think homeschooling is mostly fun and games, it's not. Part of learning at home means taking care of the home.
And that includes chores. So every morning they get up and they have a list of chores that they need to do. And of course, this is an important part of life.
And Denise and Sean agree, schooling at home has its upsides and downsides.
You can learn more, not just you go through real fast and you don't even learn anything. With that, you can take your time and then you can actually learn something from it.
You don't have to get up early. Second, you have plenty of time to do what you want.
What I would change is because usually no kids at school don't have to do housework. That's what I would change.
One thing that's bad is you don't get as many friends.
Right, 5 pieces, right?
The greatest difference between public and homeschooling is that, unlike paid teachers, Rose has a lifelong vested interest in her students' development.
I have the most to gain by seeing the success of their life And so therefore it takes on more than just academics. It's their morals, their social, their physical activities, everything is wrapped up in my influence.